We've played it and spoken to its director Takashi Iizuka and come away impressed. You've probably picked up on this by now, but Sonic Lost World looks amazing. This isn't the first HD Sonic, but if you ask me, it's definitely the best looking one. It's classic Blue Skies Sega.
Sonic Lost World does not, making the Blue Blur's latest outing a clumsy, ungainly 3D platformer that doesn't do Sega's mascot justice. This is a big disappointment for Sega's speeding Blue Bullet.
Hey, what's up everyone, GamerGuy7Aces here, and as you saw in that little video, that was something I edited back in 2013 when IGN reviewed Sonic Lost World, and I remember that review got me so angry when I saw it, because their pre-review, or as you can see, the previous video they made, they praised Sonic Lost World, right? They said that it looks like the best Sonic game yet and everything. And then when they actually reviewed the game months later, it was another guy. This guy gave it a 5.8 out of 10. And I was so angry and stuff. And some people are like, well, it's a different person. I'm like, that's no excuse. You're a professional company. You got to represent, you got to show consistency. You can't have two people giving different reviews on something, right? I mean, years have passed, and I kind of agree with the score now. I mean, my score of Sonic Lost World is 6.5 out of 10, between a 6 and 6.5. But that's besides the point. The thing is, IGN, even though that was pretty hypocritical, they didn't give their previous video, a grade. They didn't score the game because they technically didn't play the complete Sonic Lost World yet. They only played the demos, so they were just giving their impression. And now that I'm older, impression doesn't always have to reflect reviews. So I totally understand that. You can have a positive impression of a game, like Sonic Forces, and then your review can be complete, negative on it, or vice versa. You can have a negative impression on a game. For instance, Super Mario 3D World, when that was first announced, and when the first E3 trailer came out, a lot of people were negative about it. And then you can give a great review of it when the actual game comes out. I understand that. But IGN has been pretty hypocritical for Sonic in the past. This is nothing new. Let's talk about their Sonic Unleashed review, for example. Remember, they gave Sonic Unleashed a 4.5 out of 10. I think that was on the PS2 version. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was on the PS2 version. They gave Sonic Unleashed a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, that was the Xbox 360 and PS3 version. And then Sonic 06, they gave that a 4.8 out of 10 on the Xbox 360. The PS3 was a 4.2 out of 10, so that was lower, but still, they gave it 4.8 out of 10. It's still roughly the same score, and Sonic Unleashed is in no way as bad as Sonic 06. I may not love Sonic Unleashed. It may be extremely flawed, and half of it I don't like at all, the Werehog, but it is not a garbage game. It laid the foundation for Boost Sonic games, and is still unrivaled in scope and art style. The graphics definitely have been top, let's be honest, but the art style has been unrivaled. So IGN's pretty inconsistent, and when they showed their review of Unleashed, Sonic they did not know how to play the daytime stages at all, so it was bad. But we're not talking about IGN in this video. I just want to give you an example. IGN has improved lately with their reviews. I must admit, their reviews have been pretty consistent with Sonic. So I really don't understand why a lot of people were mad about their Sonic Mania Plus review. They were pretty explicit and clarified that they're reviewing the plus side, they're reviewing the DLC, and the DLC to them was quite underwhelming. They must have had high hopes for it. They gave it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, we need to stop taking them as gospel. They personally weren't that impressed by the DLC. They gave it 7 out of 10, but the game itself was an 8.7 out of 10. I don't care. That's great for them. I will play Sonic Mania Plus. I'm pretty sure I will love it. But I think the fans overreacted on that. All right, however, Game Revolution is the company that everyone should be bashing, everyone should be talking about, and I am surprised that no Sonic fan has made a video on this exposing Game Revolution. Everyone likes to pick on IGN because it's easy, too much water, 5 out of 10 and stuff. But there's some game reviewers that are so shitty, their journalism is so unprofessional and bad, but they get away with it because they're an obscure name. Like, who the hell's ever heard about Game Revolution? I haven't, until I saw Premi de Remy's tweet on it. They gave Sonic Mania Plus a 3.5 out of 5, but they gave Sonic Mania a 4 out of 5. Now, it's not the review I care about. After all, they could be reviewing the DLC. They could have given the DLC a 3.5 out of 5. However, that is not the case. Let me explain here. Now, to sum it up, their first review of Sonic Mania last year was praising it for, yes, finally, Sonic is back to what made him great, his origins and everything. And then the Sonic Mania Plus review, to summarize it in my words, was more like Sonic hasn't aged well. The 90s games, this is not good. This is as bad as Mighty Number 9. And they even called it that. They even compared the title as a pun to Mighty Number 9. And I was like, wow. And it's the same person. Let's see, was it the same person who wrote this? I'm going to check. Well, no, it's two different people who wrote it. But I don't care. A company has to have consistency. I'm tired of, what's the point of reviewing the same game if you're going to have different people giving it different reviews? Then which one is the most legit one? Which one is fake? You know what I'm saying? So, okay, let me read the first review. The first review was Sonic Mania Review, a faster, masterful remaster. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to give you tidbits here. Basically, they compared this with like Star Wars, saying this is a comeback to Sonic, comparing it with the original Star Wars and how hyped everyone was about The Force Awakens, you know, before it got all SJW and stuff. Old levels, new stuff, saying how it's great and everything. The boss battles are excellent, and they even put that pun, excellent. So you can tell, like, this was a raving review. The conclusion is like the Kevin Smith version of A New Hope, I imagine almost daily. Sonic Mania is a game made by fans, for the fans, and that's not a bad thing. Newcomers may be turned off by the intermittent difficulty spikes, but others may finally understand why many childhoods were spent looking for a kid who had a Sega Genesis. They gave this 4 out of 5 stars for excellent level design, exceptional art style, and feels like a Sonic game. Their only negatives were that it feels like Sonic, cheap deaths and all, and frustratingly old school. You know, I've seen that a lot of reviewers call it that. I mean, criticize the game for being difficult with the cheap deaths. Although, you know, I want to say get good, and a lot of them just suck in games. I do agree that the life system is a bit archaic in the original Sonic the Hedgehog games. That's the one thing I do agree. But overall, this was a good review. Now let's read their Sonic Mania Plus review. Now let's read the title. The title says, blue tinted glasses. So you can already tell this is going to be negative, because when people say you have rose tinted glasses, they just mean you're blinded by nostalgia. So basically, it says the first subtitle is Sonic Mania Plus Mighty Number 5. Like, are you kidding me? They're basically comparing this to Mighty Number 9. How that game was trying to harken back to Mega Man's glory days by being a spiritual successor, and it was totally garbage and trash. They even say that the Encore mode's level design is punishing, because, you know, Encore mode doesn't have live system, it's 5, but still it's Encore mode. Basically they're saying it hasn't aged well, kind of like how we criticize the Sonic Adventure games for not aging well. And it's saying here, Sonic Mania Plus is probably what fans of Sonic Mania want, which was probably also what fans of old Sonic games wanted, and that nostalgic force is hard to argue against for only a $5 upgrade fee. They get all of those warm fuzzy feelings, but with 2 great new characters and a small handful of remixed content that doesn't quite break the bank nor provide a ton of value. Okay, fine. However, the early 1990s infrastructure that the game prides itself on hasn't aged quite as gracefully, and while it still has plenty of charm, it doesn't fit in as elegantly with the current 2018 era that is being released in. So basically, this stupid poor excuse of a critic is saying that the game hasn't aged well. It's just early 1990s garbage, and it doesn't fit as elegantly with the 2018 era of games. So what do you mean on the 2018 era of the games? The Last of Us, another first-person shooter like Black Ops 4 or something, a Call of Duty? These type of games are only about graphics and stuff, and not about the quality of the game itself. Like, even I was reading one of Pep's tweets. He said that if it wasn't for Nintendo and platform games, he wouldn't even be a video game fan anymore past 2009, because that's all video game companies care about, like games like Detroit. I'm not saying that those games are bad, but all people care about now is games, are the graphics realistic enough, are they real? But when I play a video game, I want to escape reality, I want to have fun. You know, so I mean, this guy has a very different idea of games these days, and with games like Cuphead, Crash Bandicoot, last year was the year of platformers. I mean, even look at Mario Odyssey or Zelda. So you're telling me that Sonic Mania has no place in this era? Like, seriously, go fuck yourself. And he gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The only positive was beautiful Genesis appropriate visuals, Mighty and Ray are good additions, fantastic soundtrack, obviously. The negatives were punishing checkpoints and live system, halt progress and thwart pacing. Platforming hasn't aged well, although cheap, plus doesn't add much. Okay, so beside that last one, he said that the platforming hasn't aged well. But didn't the previous review said it had excellent level design? So between last year and this year, the level design hasn't aged well. What exactly do you mean, Game Revolution? Are you saying the level design hasn't aged well from the 90s, but the game last year that was based on the games in the 90s, the Sonic games in the 90s, had excellent level design? Or are you saying that the level design in Mania Plus specifically isn't good? Because Mania Plus doesn't have any new levels. I mean, sure, the levels have changed a bit. The level design has changed just a tad bit to incorporate Mighty's abilities and Ray or whatever, but it's not much. And to say that it hasn't aged well doesn't make sense, because if it's only a Mania Plus, then that game is new. So what exactly are talking? You contradict yourself. This whole review doesn't make sense. It's quite bullshit, really. You know, so nothing has changed in Mania Plus except a few add-ons and stuff. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, gaming journalism is severely flawed, and it shouldn't be taken seriously like film reviews. You know, movie critics are much more consistent, to the point that it enrages and it angers a lot of fanboys, like the DCEU. Critics have constantly been negative on DCU movies because the DCEU movies pretty much suck, except Wonder Woman, which received great reviews. MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, every movie they've put has gotten fresh scores, positive scores. Even the least favorable movies like Thor: The Dark World or The Incredible Hulk, which I personally liked, and even Iron Man 3, even though it had average reviews, they still were not rotten or negative reviews. You know, so movie critics are much more consistent. Sure, there's always a few bad apples, a few bad critics, but generally speaking, I would trust a movie critic for a movie I'm about to watch way more than a game critic. Game critics never have any effect on me when I'm getting a game. I mean, I still like to see what reviews that game got, but they've never, you know, deferred me or deterred me from buying a game at all. I just like to see what other people think, but I still play the game because it's my experience that matters. When I'm watching a movie, we're all mostly sharing similar experiences because we're watching something. But playing a game, you're experiencing it yourself. So everyone's going to have a different experience. And that's why gaming, and it's not only that, just gaming journalism is just bad. You know, that's no excuse for this bad review at all, whatsoever. Even music reviews are more consistent, and music is as subjective as anything. But anytime they have a music critic reviewing, like, let's say some Kanye West albums, all of Kanye West albums, and then they review his latest album. So if it's a negative review like Ye, that I can believe that. It's more consistent, it's more credible, because it's like, yeah, Ye wasn't that great of an album compared to his earlier works like College Dropout or especially Late Registration and Graduation, you know? So I can understand it. It's not like they're pulling someone who doesn't like hip-hop music or whatever, is not a big fan of it. They review, like, let's say country music or something, or classical music or anything, or jazz, and then they're reviewing Kanye West. Of course they're going to give it a terrible rating. Why would I take that as a credible source when that person doesn't even like that genre? That's what I'm getting at. This reviewer doesn't really like Sonic games at all. He doesn't. So he's reviewing this saying, comparing it to Mighty Number 9 and even Dark Souls type of difficulty. Why is this review being counted as legit? It's not. That's what I'm saying. You see where I'm getting at, guys? If they want people to take gaming journalism seriously, they need to be consistent. They need to bring reviewers who love the franchise they're reviewing, or at least love the genre. You know, but when it comes to Sonic, you might as well just get someone who loves the franchise, because a lot of people are just biased when it comes to Sonic. But yeah, but I think I've pretty much made my point already. You know, they need to take people who are consistent with games, and they need to take game journalism more professional. Otherwise, I won't, and we shouldn't. What do you guys think? Do you let game reviewers influence your opinion on games, or whether you're going to buy a game or not? Because I sure don't. Movie critics are the only reviewers that I actually can allow to influence me sometimes, but I still want to watch the movie for myself, especially if I'm very hyped for it, you know. Show me your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this? Do you think Game Revolution is in the wrong, or do you think they're in the right? And yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Now, I hope someone from Game Revolution is watching this, because you guys really need to fix your shit. You really need to fix your website. It's very unprofessional, and it continues crashing my computer too. So I mean, what gives? But anyway, That wraps it up for now. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that bell button because I'm going ham on the videos this summer. Alright guys, take care. See you next time. And until then, swag out.